He left me for her. But I never signed the divorce papers. He left a note. Not a conversation. Not even a phone call. A note scribbled on the back of a grocery list, wedged under my coffee mug like a receipt he didn't want me to miss. I'm sorry. I can't do this anymore. I've met someone else. I hope you'll understand. Understand what? That after 9 years of marriage, 3 of which were spent trying to have a child, he was walking out without warning? That he wasn't going to look me in the eyes when he left? That he'd met someone else, and apparently that someone else was more than just a mistake. I read the note 4 times before I could move. Then I checked the closets. His shoes were gone. So were his ties. His cufflinks. The aftershave I always bought for his birthday. All gone. Except for his wedding ring. Left in the bathroom sink still damp from his last shower. That was the day I stopped crying. And started listening. Because when a man leaves like that, he's not just hiding the truth. He's hiding a trail. Let me back up. My name's Valerie. I'm 36. Graphic designer. Quiet type. Married to Thomas, or at least I thought I still was. We met in college. Fell hard. Married fast. We built a life of routines: Thursday pizza, Sunday Netflix, anniversary trips to the same beach condo every August. It wasn't exciting. But it was ours. Until, apparently, it wasn't. He moved out in January. By February I saw them. Him. And her. She couldn't have been older than 25. Blonde. Loud laugh. Thin as a shadow. They were holding hands in line at the farmer's market, our farmer's market, as if they owned the sidewalk. I didn't confront him then. Didn't scream. Didn't cry. I watched. And took pictures. And when he noticed me, he didn't even flinch. He just gave me that look, the one men use when they've already rewritten the story and cast themselves as the victim. I walked away. But I didn't forget. 2 months later, mutual friends told me they were having a baby. Her name was Danielle. She posted weekly bump updates. Hashtags like #MiracleBaby and #NewBeginnings filled my Explore feed whether I wanted them or not. I unfollowed. But people kept forwarding them. She moved into his new condo by the lake. They hosted dinner parties. He never returned my messages. Never finalized the paperwork. That's right, he never filed for divorce. Which meant legally, I was still his wife. Which meant all this playing house was nothing but a fantasy. And I was about to bring reality crashing down. It started with the ultrasound post. She held the picture up with one hand, cradled her belly with the other, and tagged Thomas with the caption, "So grateful to start our forever." That was the moment something in me snapped. I wasn't jealous. I was done. Because while he was off playing daddy, I had discovered something interesting buried in our joint online accounts. See, Thomas never changed the auto login on his laptop. And one day, while clearing out our storage unit, I found it. Buried under his old gym bag. Still working. Still logged into email. That's when I saw the truth. Messages to Danielle. Messages about timelines, and keeping things quiet until after the baby. And one particularly juicy one. She'll sign eventually. She's soft. I just need to play it cool until we lock down the nursery and insurance. So that was it. He was waiting. Trying to manipulate me into filing first, probably so he wouldn't owe alimony. Trying to get his new family secured before I realized he was playing both sides of the fence. I screenshotted everything. Every word. Every lie. And then I waited. For the perfect moment. It came 3 weeks later. I got a text from an old coworker, someone who used to hang out with Thomas and knew Danielle through mutual circles. "Hey, this might be weird, but did you know they're having a baby shower next weekend? I just got the invite. Looks elaborate." And attached was a photo of the card. All pastels and balloons and smiling illustrations. Celebrating Danielle and Thomas's new beginning. At their new house. With a guest list. And a surprise. Planned for 3 p.m. I smiled. Because now? I had a surprise of my own. I wasn't on the guest list. I came anyway. I spent the entire night preparing. Not emotionally. I'd already cried all the tears I was ever going to cry for Thomas. This was strategy. I printed every screenshot. Every email. Every account statement showing his name and mine, still married, still shared. I dressed simple. Clean. Professional. Not flashy. Not dramatic. Just enough to look like someone who didn't have to scream to be heard. I left my hair down and wore his favorite shade of lipstick, coral rose. The one he used to say. Made me look like I owned the room. Perfect. The baby shower started at 2 p.m. I arrived at 2:40. Not too early to seem desperate. Not too late to miss this surprise Danielle was planning for 3 o'clock. Their house was exactly what I expected. Modern. Cold. Furniture staged like an Instagram ad. I parked down the block and walked, clutching my purse like it held a bomb. Which, in a way, it did. When I knocked, a woman with big hair and a glass of mimosa opened the door. Oh. Are you with the catering? I smiled politely. I'm here for Danielle. She blinked. And you are? An old friend, I said. She hesitated. Then let me in. The house was packed. Floating balloons. A table of tiny sandwiches. Every woman in the room wore a variation of pastel and gold. I scanned the crowd. Danielle was in the center of it, perched like a swan, glowing and gesturing to her stomach while a circle of friends awed and filmed her with their phones. Thomas wasn't in sight. Yet. I moved through the crowd slowly. Nobody noticed me. Nobody expected me. Which is exactly what I wanted. Then I saw him. In the kitchen. Laughing with a man in a pink blazer. Until his eyes met mine. And the color drained from his face. He stepped away mid-sentence and came straight toward me. Valerie, he hissed. What the hell are you doing here? I raised an eyebrow. Oh, didn't I RSVP? His voice dropped. Leave. Now. You really shouldn't tell your wife what to do, I said louder than necessary. A woman nearby blinked. Someone else turned their head. I smiled. I'm not here to make a scene, I said. I'm here to correct one. He tried to take my arm. I stepped back. Touch me in front of your guests, Thomas. Go ahead. He froze. I looked over his shoulder. Danielle had noticed. She was walking toward us now, arms protectively around her belly, confusion tightening her jaw. Thomas, who is this? He spun, fake laughing. No one, babe. She's just his wife, I said. Danielle blinked. What? I pulled a folded copy of our marriage license from my purse and held it out to her like a party favor. I'm Valerie Holt. And legally I'm still married to this man. Gasps. Loud ones. Several guests stopped talking entirely. Danielle took the paper with trembling hands. This is some kind of mistake. Oh, it's not, I said calmly. Ask him why he never filed. Ask him why I still have power of attorney over his insurance policies. Ask him how he was planning to put a new baby on a healthcare plan he doesn't technically control. Thomas grabbed my wrist, not hard but firm. Please. Don't do this here. Why not? I said, yanking away. You did this. Here. In front of everyone. You posted her stomach like a trophy. You paraded her through my friends, my city, my life. Danielle's voice shook. Thomas, is this real? He looked like a man whose entire mask had slipped. I was going to handle it. After the baby. After the baby? She whispered. You lied to me about this? I turned to the room. For anyone wondering, I'm not here to destroy anything. I'm here because I was erased. And I don't get erased. Then I opened my purse. Pulled out the last page. One Danielle hadn't seen yet. Thomas saw it. And he panicked. He stepped forward, eyes wide. Valerie, don't show that. He thought I would stay quiet. I brought proof instead. Thomas's face had gone pale, not pale like fear, but pale like realization. Like a man who just saw the rest of his life slipping between his fingers. Valerie, please. Don't. I held the final page in my hand, not just any page. It was a copy of the legal notice of debt consolidation I'd co-signed with him 2 years ago. The one still active. The one tying us together financially. With Danielle's baby's future tangled in it. I turned to her and held it out. This, I said calmly, is your future with him. A joint liability in my name, never dissolved. Meaning if he defaults, I pay. She stared at it. The gold foil balloons behind her seemed to wilt. I thought you said everything was finalized, she said slowly, her voice cracking. You told me she was gone. That she signed. Thomas reached for her hand. I was working on it, baby. I just needed time. Things were complicated. No. I cut in. Things were convenient. You used me for coverage, for legal status, for paperwork you didn't want to untangle. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Phones were already out. Someone in the corner whispered, "She's still his wife?" Danielle shook her head, eyes filling with tears. "Why wouldn't you tell me?" Thomas stepped closer, trying to take control of the narrative. "She's just trying to ruin this moment. She doesn't want me to move on." I tilted my head. "Funny. Because you were the one begging me last month to keep the joint mortgage so you could look stable on paper for a loan." Danielle blinked. "You what?" He froze. "You told me you were buying the house with your money." "I was. I am. I mean. No, he isn't," I said. "Because I pulled the records. And he used our joint credit standing to secure the initial lender's approval." The room was silent. Only the faint hum of a decorative balloon brushing the ceiling. Danielle stared down at the page in her hands. Then back at Thomas. "You used her to buy our home." He swallowed. "I was gonna move it all over after the baby." She stepped back. From him. From the crowd. From the fantasy. "I didn't sign up for this. You said you loved me." He pleaded. "I loved who I thought you were." He reached again. She flinched. And something inside her snapped. She looked around the room at the faces, half stunned, half recording. Then turned back to him and said, "Get out." Thomas blinked. "What?" "You heard me. This is my housewarming party. You brought this circus here. Get out." "Danielle, I live here." "Not anymore." "You don't mean that." "I do," she said. "And if you don't walk out, I swear to God, I'll call every woman in this room and make sure none of them lets you near their baby's shower again." Laughter rippled, awkward, sharp. Thomas looked to me like I'd poisoned the air. "You did this." I nodded. "No. You did this. I just finally stopped letting you do it alone." He thought I wanted him back. I wanted something bigger. Thomas didn't leave quietly. He muttered to himself, cursed under his breath, tried to get Danielle to take back her words in front of everyone. But the room was cold now. No one defended him. No one clapped him on the back. He was a man whose mask had cracked wide open, and the silence from his own party stung more than anything I could have said. He walked out without his coat. Without his keys. Without dignity. I stayed just long enough to finish my drink, lemonade in a glass flute. Then I set it down and left, walking through the stunned crowd like I was stepping out of a courtroom I'd just won. 2 hours later, Danielle texted me. "I know you hate me. But thank you." I didn't respond at first. She sent another. "He lied to me too. I didn't know. I really didn't." Still, I said nothing. Then finally, "Take care of yourself. And the baby." She replied with a photo. The ultrasound. And one more message. "I'm going to raise her on truth. Not lies." Maybe that was guilt. Maybe that was growth. Either way, it wasn't my problem anymore. I had my own life to sort out. And that started with legally ending the one Thomas thought he was entitled to stretch forever. So I booked a meeting with a divorce attorney the next morning. A woman named Pamela. Sharp eyes, colder voice. My kind of person. She reviewed the files I brought. The timelines. The financial web. The loan details. You could sue for fraud, she said. But it won't get you peace. You want to be free. Exactly, I said. She nodded. We'll dissolve it. But you're in a position to walk away with more than you think. She explained how his financial dependency on me, proven through his use of our joint credit, could actually work against him. If I pushed, I could walk away with majority of the assets, including the down payment on Danielle's house, which was still technically entangled in my credit. I didn't smile. But I felt it, deep in my chest. Justice. Clean. Legal. Quiet. I signed the papers. And the following week, Pamela sent them to Thomas. He didn't respond. Until he showed up. At my door. In the middle of a Monday afternoon. Unannounced. Unshaven. Sweaty. Holding a manila envelope like it was a peace offering. I've been thinking, he started. I leaned against the doorway. You had 9 years to think. He looked down. I messed up. No kidding. I shouldn't have left like that. I shouldn't have lied. To either of you. Then why did you? He hesitated. Then looked up and said, because I didn't think you'd ever fight back. He thought I came to ruin his life. I came to reclaim mine. I didn't think you'd ever fight back, he said. That was the moment I realized exactly how small Thomas had become. Not just morally, but mentally. He had really, truly believed I'd let him walk out, start a second life, and keep me on standby as a backup signature. He thought I was soft. I let him sit on the edge of the porch. I stayed standing. What do you want, Thomas? He exhaled. I want a way out that doesn't ruin both of us. Define ruin. He opened the envelope, papers. Debt statements. Past due notices. A letter from the bank. I'm losing the condo, he said. The financing collapsed after Danielle kicked me out. She backed out of co-signing. I don't qualify solo. Because of our joint debt? I asked. He nodded. And the income dropped since I left. So now you want my help? Not help, he said quickly. A deal. I raised an eyebrow. Go on. Drop the credit claim. Let the mortgage default. We walk away even. You get the divorce. I walk with nothing. We call it done. I stared at him. Why would I agree to that? Because if the condo goes into foreclosure, your name's still. It won't, I said calmly. Because I already filed a claim. And your name's about to be the only one left on that loan. He blinked. What? My lawyer had me file a debt liability transfer 2 weeks ago. I pulled my name off the property application. You're the only one listed now. He swallowed. You can't. I did. He looked like a man watching the last brick of a bridge fall into the water. You're leaving me with everything. No, I said. I'm leaving you with everything you chose. I handed him a folder. Inside? The final divorce decree. Filed. Approved. Stamped. You're free now, Thomas, I said. But freedom costs something. And I paid mine up front. Yours is just beginning. He looked up at me, and for the first time in a long time, he didn't look smug. Or angry. He looked alone. I made a mistake. He whispered. No, I replied. You made a series of decisions. And they caught up. He stood slowly. Tried to speak. I closed the door before he could. That was the last time I saw him. Danielle moved back to her parents' place. The condo was repossessed 6 weeks later. A mutual friend said Thomas now rents a basement apartment and works customer service at a mattress outlet. I didn't check. I had no interest in watching someone else spiral. Instead, I focused on the life he thought he could erase. I changed my name back. Reclaimed my credit. Traveled to Barcelona, the trip we always said we'd take, but never did because Thomas had work. I went alone. Sat on rooftops. Walked through art galleries. Drank espresso at midnight. And on the last day, I stood by the sea and said out loud, "Thank you for leaving." Because I finally understood. Sometimes the worst thing someone can do to you is the best thing they ever did.